Get ready for one of the craziest, most heartbreaking stories in R&B history. We're talking about Charmaine Maxwell, better known as Maxie, from the incredible group Brownstone. They were powerhouse singers, discovered and signed by none other than the king of pop, Michael Jackson himself. Their hit If You Love Me soared up the charts, making them stars. But Maxie's life, filled with soaring vocals and big dreams, ended in a shocking freak accident at just 46. What really happened that day? Let's dive deep into the tragic, untold story of Maxie Maxwell. Maxie Maxwell was born in Guyana, South America. As a teenager, she moved to Los Angeles, chasing big dreams of acting and singing. Making it in entertainment was tough. She went to audition after audition, facing rejection constantly. But Maxie never gave up. She kept trying. And soon, she started noticing two other talented singers at these auditions, Nikki Gilbert and Monica Mimi Doby. Nikki hailed from Detroit and Mimi from New Orleans, both chasing the same dream. They were all struggling solo artists, competing for the same few spots. After many auditions, they started to admire each other's voices. That's when Nikki had a brilliant idea. Why don't we form a group? The moment they started singing together, their voices blended like magic. It sounded like a full church choir, but there were only 3 of them. They knew they had something special. They needed a name, something strong. They chose Brownstone. Maxie once explained that brown represented their different skin tones, and stone meant they were solid, unbreakable women. They were like stones, strong, resilient, and ready to face anything. As a trio, they started performing anywhere they could, slowly building a following. Maxie, a beautiful, tall, brown-skinned woman, even got asked to be in a music video, but that day took a crazy turn. Nikki ended up stranded in the desert, a wild story for another time. The next day, those same guys who left them stranded wanted to make it up to them. They introduced the girls to some big music publishers. But after hearing them sing, the publishers weren't impressed. Heartbroken, Maxie, Nikki, and Mimi walked out. But here's where fate stepped in. 2 white women, who had overheard the audition from outside, stopped them. They loved their sound and wanted to help. The next day, those ladies took them to meet a man named Jerry Greenberg. He was the president of Michael Jackson's new label, MJJ Records, a joint venture with Sony. When they first met Jerry Greenberg, Brownstone had no idea he worked for Michael Jackson. They auditioned, and Jerry instantly fell in love with their voices. He wanted to sign them, but he wanted them to sing again at one of his conferences, to meet someone special. Weeks later, Brownstone sang again. The room was dark, almost pitch black, with bright lights shining only on them. When they finished their a cappella rendition of If You Love Me, a figure emerged from behind the curtains. It was Michael Jackson. The king of pop loved their sound, calling it extraordinary. He wanted them to be the first artist signed to his new label. Imagine the feeling, going from constant rejection to being signed by Michael Jackson himself. It was a dream come true. With a record deal, they began working on their debut album, From the Bottom Up. Michael Jackson was an executive producer, offering input, even though he was busy with his own His Story album. Around this time, Maxie met her future husband, Carl Sturken, better known as Soul Shock, a Danish music producer hired for the album. Soul Shock was a big deal, producing hits for Whitney Houston, Tupac, Usher, Toni Braxton, and many more. Maxie and Soul Shock fell in love and got married. On the 11th of August, 1994, Brownstone released their first single, Past the Love. It was good, but their second single, If You Love Me, released on the 24th of October, 1994, took them to another level. Nikki's powerful voice, Mimi's high notes, and Maxie's soulful runs were magic. If You Love Me became their biggest hit ever, reaching number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 and the UK Singles Chart, and number 2 on the R&B Singles Chart. It even topped the New Zealand charts for 5 weeks. It was nominated for a Grammy, though they lost to TLC's Creep. Still, The song earned 5 Billboard Music Award nominations, winning 1 for Top Hot R&B Single Airplay. It helped their debut album go platinum and was even sampled years later by rapper Tory Lanez. They were on the cover of Jet magazine. They were huge. Their 3rd single, Grapevine, also did well, and Maxie showcased her incredible vocals on the 4th single, a beautiful cover of the Eagles' I Can't Tell You Why. Brownstone was in demand, touring with Boyz II Men, Patti LaBelle, Anita Baker, and Blackstreet, performing in Japan and Australia. They even appeared on the Panther movie soundtrack. But behind the scenes, issues began to surface. Mimi decided the music business wasn't for her and left the group, also dealing with severe bronchitis. She became a school teacher. Kina Cosper joined the group, and in 1997, they released their 2nd album. Still Climbing, the single 5 Miles to Empty did well, pushing the album to gold status. They toured Europe and the US, but overall, the album didn't get the promotion it deserved, leading to lower sales. Still, it was a great album, and the industry respected their talent. After that, the group split, pursuing solo careers. Maxie, a multi-talented vocalist, wanted to explore rock, pop, and alternative music, not just R&B. She signed with Mercury Records and moved to London, where her solo single, When I Look Into Your Eyes, became a UK hit. Years later, the members of Brownstone continued with their solo projects, raising families. Maxie and Soul Shock had a son together. Nikki Gilbert became a successful entrepreneur, even executive producing the show R&B Divas. In 2015, Nikki approached Maxie with an exciting idea, a new show about women who had found success, but then lost it, just like them. She wanted to call it From the Bottom Up, after their first album. Maxie loved it. Nikki took the idea to Queen Latifah's company, and the show got the green light on BET. But as they were putting the show together, tragedy struck. On February 28, 2015, Charmaine Maxwell died after a freak accident at her Los Angeles home. It was a Saturday. She had just returned from her son's soccer game. She went home and started drinking some wine. What happened next is truly horrifying. She reportedly slipped backward out of a doorway, the threshold between her house and the back patio, while holding a glass of wine. The glass fell first, shattering on the floor, leaving sharp pieces everywhere. As she fell, she landed exactly on the broken glass. Shards of glass cut and pierced the back of her neck in 2 places as her body hit the floor. She also had an injury on the back of her head, likely knocking her unconscious as she bled. Hours later, her husband, Soul Shock, and their son came home from the soccer game. They found her bleeding and unconscious. Soul Shock immediately called 911. Paramedics arrived, but it was too late. Maxie had lost too much blood from the deep wounds on her neck. She died on her way to the hospital. When her death was announced, many people questioned if it was truly an accident or if foul play was involved. Some media outlets even started reporting that she had been suffering from depression and had committed suicide. But Maxie's brother, Brandon Maxwell, quickly denied these rumors. He tweeted, "People are so dumb, this is actually BS." He even linked to sites spreading the suicide rumors, trying to shut them down. The police investigated thoroughly. They confirmed that she simply fell. The glass shattered, and the shards punctured her neck in 2 different places. They also noted the injury on the back of her head, suggesting she was unconscious. Crucially, there was no history of domestic violence between Maxie and her husband. The police confirmed there was no foul play. Her death was officially ruled a freak accident. It's a terrible, unbelievable way to go. An autopsy was supposed to confirm the official cause of death, but the report was never publicly found in any research. Nikki Gilbert later said she was writing a book, promising to put everything she knew about Maxie's death in it. They were best friends and talked all the time, so perhaps her book will shed more light on this tragic event. The news of Maxie Maxwell's death sent shockwaves through the music community and among her fans. The suddenness and the bizarre nature of the accident left many stunned and disbelieving. Media speculation about depression and suicide quickly emerged, adding another layer of pain and confusion to the tragedy. However, her family, particularly her brother Brandon, vehemently denied these rumors. The police investigation ultimately supported their stance, concluding that Maxie's death was indeed a freak accident. They found no evidence of foul play or domestic violence, stating that she slipped, fell onto broken glass, and bled to death. This official confirmation helped to quell some of the more sensationalized reports, but the sheer unlikelihood of the event continued to baffle many. Despite the tragic circumstances, Maxie Maxwell's musical legacy endures. Her powerful voice, both as part of Brownstone and in her solo career, left an indelible mark on R&B. The promise of Nikki Gilbert's upcoming book offers a glimmer of hope that more personal insights and perhaps even clearer details surrounding Maxie's final moments might eventually come to light, ensuring her story continues to be told. Charmaine Maxie Maxwell was just 46 years old when her life was tragically cut short. A talented singer, a loving wife and mother, and a star who found success with the King of Pop's help. Her death remains one of the most unbelievable stories in music, a freak accident that defies belief. Her powerful voice, both with Brownstone and as a solo artist, touched countless lives. Let's remember Maxie not just for her tragic end, but for the incredible talent and spirit she brought to the world. Go listen to Brownstone's music, share her story, and ensure her legacy lives on.